Hi guys, I'm going to go over how to do your assignment for today and then also some upcoming due dates that you have coming up soon. So if you are virtual in here, all I need for you to do today is complete the attendance survey in here. So make sure you complete this, and then that's all that you need to do in this assignment for today in Google Classroom. So do attendance and then hit submit, because our reading is going to be done through Pearson and it's going to be located under a separate tab. So all you need to do in here is the virtual attendance. So we'll close out of here, and then tomorrow morning I'll assign that reading as a different topic under here. So you'll see it listed as the Diary of Anne Frank. You'll click there and it will be your reading for Friday. So your assignment will be in there and you'll need to turn that in through Google Classroom. Now that will appear tomorrow morning, but here's what it looks like so that I can kind of go over it with you. Now, this is an excerpt from Anne Frank's actual diary. So we see two diary entries, one for June 20th and one for June 19th. So she's just kind of writing in her diary kind of when she first gets it. So you're going to read this. It has the audio right here if you'd like to listen along, or you can just read it. As you're going, it does have this annotation feature, so you can highlight, circle, underline, and then take notes as well. You can write an annotation. So I do encourage that you do that as you go to kind of make connections with the text. So you're going to read this, and then when you're finished, you're going to come over here and you're going to do the questions under Build Insight. So if you don't see it, it may be minimized like this. If there's nothing over here, you're going to hit this little plus button, and there's three different tabs. So there's Prepare to Read, Build Insight, and then Analyze and Interpret. I just want you to work in Build Insight. That's the only place that you are answering questions today. Don't worry about the other two tabs. Okay, so you're going to be answering the questions in here, and you can click on this little blue notebook and it'll pop up a tab for you to answer questions. You can bold, italicize, underline, bullet, and number if you would like to use any of these features. So this first one asks, what surprised you about Anne's reactions to the events she described? So Anne has some reactions to some of the things that are going on around her, specifically people that she knows getting taken by the Nazis. So how are her reactions to some of these things surprising to you? So you're going to answer that in here. It's going to ask you, who is Kitty? She explains in her diary who Kitty is. And then what are two restrictions that were placed on Jews after May 1940? And then what makes Anne think Mr. Dussel is slow on the uptake? So in here, I would recommend doing maybe like a numbered list and answering 1, 2, 3. Okay, this one is a little tricky. It's kind of weird and we haven't really gone over it. It says establish a purpose for reading. So what purpose for reading did you set? How did establishing a purpose affect the way you read the selection, and would you recommend this strategy to others? So what this is just asking you is, what were you hoping to accomplish when you read this? So if you're not really sure how to answer this, what we are doing today is kind of comparing and contrasting the difference between your actual diary and the play that we have been reading. So a purpose that we could kind of have for here is to compare and to contrast. And then you can answer these questions based on your experience with reading. So did it affect the way that you read the selection, and would you recommend this strategy? So you're not going to be working as a group if you're virtual, but what you're going to do is go ahead and skip down to the interpret. So Anne starts her diary with the saying, paper is more patient than man. What do you think this expression means? So kind of just break down and analyze this quote for me. And why do you think Anne started her diary this way? So what is the importance of this quote? Number 5 asks, how would you describe Anne's tone? So a good question that you may have is, what is tone? So tone is an author's attitude towards the subject they are writing about. So how does Anne feel about herself being in hiding, about the Holocaust, about the events that she is going through? So what are her feelings and her emotions regarding what she is writing about? And then why does she use the tone that she does? Number 6, despite the fact that Anne and her family are in hiding, she feels fortunate. What does this reveal about her character? So who is she as a person? What does that mean about her that she's fortunate despite the bad circumstances? And then finally, what I want you to do is choose a passage from the text that you find especially interesting or important. Then use the annotation tool to mark it. You'll discuss the passage. So once again, if you're virtual, you won't be discussing anything. What you'll do instead is say you want to highlight this first couple lines, and you think that this is important. So we highlight it, and then instead of discussing with the group what you're going to do in this notebook is explain to me why you chose that and why it is important. Okay. So you're just going to be answering those questions for me within the Build Insight. Don't do anything in Prepare to Read, and don't do anything in Analyze and Interpret. Okay. So that is where you're going to be answering questions for me today. That's all you need to do if you are virtual. And then what we're also going to be working on, just some dates coming up that I wanted to go over. So first, next Wednesday, November 18th, you guys are going to have an Act 1 test. So it's over all of Act 1 that we have read so far. And it is going to be in Google Forms. We'll have a review for it, but that is next Wednesday. And then also you have 2 study island assignments, one over genre and one over root words. That is due December 4th. Now that's not for some time, but I wanted to let you guys know this early on so that you're not surprised and you have plenty of time to work on it. You can redo this as many times as you need to get the grade you want. I will take your highest score for each one. So you can access Study Island through ClassLink. So if we're in ClassLink, it is this little yellow icon right here, Study Island. And then your login is first name, period, last name @CalAllen. Password is ID number. So you don't need to work on this today if you don't want to. The Study Island is not due until December 4th, so that is you going at your own pace and finishing it when works best for you whenever you have downtime and you want to work on it. So that is what you'll be doing. Make sure you submit the assignments for today, and then there'll be a separate one assigned in here with the reading. Make sure you turn it in through Pearson. You hit that turn in button in Pearson, and you also turn in through Google Classroom so that I can see it. Okay. If you have any questions or you're having any issues getting into Pearson or you're struggling with the assignment for today, send me an email, leave me a comment on Google Classroom, and I will help you out. Thanks, guys.